I'll wait for a few moments, get some people in here. We're discussing the case of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. Lilly is 6 years old. Jack is 4 years old. They disappeared from Lansdowne Station in Nova Scotia, Canada, off of Gairloch Road on May 2nd around 10 a.m. And that's questionable about when the 911 call truly did come into into the police, and which police responded. We're learning a lot. Yesterday on my live on TikTok, I learned a lot, and we're going to go over. And I went over some of the stuff as it happened yesterday with you. Good morning, Southern Grammy, Mickey Shell, Your Blues, Amy, Rebecca, Kathleen. It's nice to see you. And not only that, guys, we missed a critical detail. And this, every case we cover, there's always that nugget of information we overlooked. And in this case, it's no different. Good morning, Lakeith. It's nice to see you. Melanie, Lisa B. Always, thank you. Lisa, you're one of the reasons why we're covering this right now. I believe Elizabeth and Shannon. Shannon's another one that sent me a new content creator that I was unaware of. Sweet Stevia, it's nice to see you. Shining Star, me Ma, in my opinion. It's nice to see you. Alicia, AMAC, it's nice to see you. Kendra, Tina, Melanie, it's nice to see you. Good morning, guys. Good morning. So as you guys saw, we are learning. Oh, thank you for the flower. Thank you, Amy. I love those little snippets. Those are cute. I like that. Donna, Christy, it's nice to see you. Good morning, TGIF to you too. Mary, good morning. I've been waiting for you to come on to say, talk about, yes. Well, and it's not just this, but it was an article. You know how we're hearing stuff, and I tell you guys this all the time. And one of the reasons why I'm always, when the case starts getting stale, like much of Sebastian Rogers' case, there toward the end, it was starting to get really stale. There wasn't really a whole lot of information to discuss anymore. And so when we have situations like that, we always go back to the beginning of the case. The reason why we go back to the beginning of the case is because as the case goes on, you learn a lot of different information, and some information you forget about. And so going back to the beginning refreshes you on the stuff that you forgot about, but it also, some things are clarified for you because now you have a lot more information about the case, about the individuals involved. Something that in the beginning that meant nothing may now mean something. And so this was one of those weird things where I'm reading an article about these trail cameras, and something just literally pops off the page, and it's like we've heard it multiple times, but we didn't understand what it truly meant. And now I do. And we're going to go over that because this is huge. Much like a detail of the Sebastian Rogers case that we had overlooked is now very, very, very much relevant in the timeline of Sebastian Rogers' case. So we'll go over all of that. It's nice to see you guys. I think I missed a few people here that are coming in. Let's see, where were we? Travis, it's nice to see you. Vicky, good morning. Faye, the real me too. It's nice to see you. I think that's about it. Okay, so if you guys are coming here for the first time and you don't know who I am, I'm Bullhorn Betty, and this is Bullhorn Betty Crime. Well, I would say Crime Stories, but it is not. This is just our main channel. But we also have a Crime Stories channel as well, and Facebook groups. We do have a Facebook group for this case, and I hope all of you guys. Oh, did I delete the Facebook group thing? I sure did this morning. But either way, we do have a Facebook group for Lilly and Jack. If you guys would like to see it, it's the Missing Nova Scotia Siblings. And that's what it is, Missing Nova Scotia Siblings. And then Lilly and Jack Sullivan discussion group. I tried to change the name to condense it a little more because it's quite a long title. And I didn't really think that through. But apparently I'm stuck with that name for at least 30 days. So we'll change the name of the Facebook group as soon as humanly possible. But either way, we learned yesterday. Let's just talk about some of the stuff we've learned, okay? So yesterday I was running a story and went on the TikTok side of things, and was going through the run of the mill, all of my questions that I have, about the case, and there were some people from Canada, and not just some people from Canada in the chat, but there were some people from that area, from New Glasgow. There was one lady that said she was from Halifax, but I really believe she was a troll, but I don't want to make that assessment either way. It appeared that we learned that the responding law enforcement would have been from New Glasgow, which is about an 18-minute, 20-minute drive from their home. And I think that's important because that shows us law enforcement can't possibly respond to their area very quickly. I mean, it sounds like their responding time's about 20 minutes. But then we started getting into the conversation about how the mom left and how I think that's ultra, ultra, ultra sus. And one of the ladies, I believe it was a lady in the chat, was talking about the case and talking about how the reservations out there, the Royal Canadian Police cannot go on there and question. And I wasn't quite understanding it, but as I was going through that live on TikTok, I was getting a good understanding. Wait a minute. If she's, and they did give respect to the Indian reservations out there before they even started talking about Lilly and Jack in the first press conference. And so I'm starting to think, okay, and people did remind me there are some reservations here in Florida. We do have some Florida reservations, but it's not something I've dealt with. It's not something that I've dealt with on a criminal level, right? So I've never had to deal with the coordination between tribal, police and courts and the American police and courts. I never even thought about that. But we do have, somebody reminded me about Tampa. We have a casino in Tampa, and that's on a reservation. And then that prompted me to remember when I was going down, I can't remember where I was going with my mom, but I believe we were on Alligator Alley, and she said the majority of Alligator Alley at one point, or still is, owned by the Indian reservations or part of them or whatnot. So we do have some here, so it was reminded of me that we do have some here, but I've never dealt with it in a criminal capacity, where somebody's missing, and then somebody runs or flees to a reservation, but I could never understand why she didn't come back. And even after her child was taken into the children department custody, my understanding is she is there as a witness, a protected witness type of classification on their daughter. So the state has, or the Canada, I don't know if it's the state, but it's the Department of Children and Family Services there has Meadow. And so we learned that, and some people were like, well, what about this and what about that? And it's like, no, there's children missing. We dealt with this with the Summer Wells case, and the suspicion, they took the kid. Okay, I don't believe there's any ifs, ands, or buts about it. And I think the article I'm about to read is going to corroborate a lot of that as well. A few people. Where were we with our mornings? Phil, Michelle, Faye, Angel, it's nice to see you. Amy M. Phil, oh, Stacy, it's nice to see you. Cindy, it's nice to see you. Carrie, good morning. Lisa C, good morning. It's nice to see you. Mary J, it's politically incorrect to call them Indians. They're called natives. Yeah, but I'm not a PC person. I speak the way I speak. People are either going to be offended or not offended, and if you're highly offended, I'm probably not the channel to be watching to begin with. So, I think there's a lot of people out there that try to sit there and paint PC and speak on behalf of other people, and nobody bothers asking those other people how they feel about a damn thing. So, I'll speak how I speak. But coming here and saying it's not politically correct, that you lose me there, because I am far from being PC. As a matter of fact, I think PC is the most disgusting thing that people can do. I'm not a politically correct person, but I'm highly politically active. Panda Bear's mom, it's nice to see you. Juicy Jules, good morning. Good morning. Jojo Wolf. Well, hey, honey, how are you? I hope you're doing well. Jacqueline, it's nice to see you. Good morning. True Crime Junkie, good morning. Back at you, gorgeous. Triggered. I'm not triggered. You're the one telling me how to speak. It sounds to me like you're not triggered. I don't get triggered. I speak how I speak. Trust me. I think I got 5 years of proven I don't get triggered very often, right? I do me. I act the same way I act every day. Something excites me, it excites me. If it doesn't excite me, it doesn't excite me. I'm pretty even keel when it comes to stuff like that. But I will tell you, I think political correctness has ruined a lot of people's lives. Period. And if you're part of the political correct atmosphere, well, I guess that speaks for itself too, don't it? Just saying. But good morning, Mary J. I'm glad you woke up on the right side of the bed, it being a Friday. If I woke up that disgruntled, I'd probably be looking at my life. I'm just saying. Sometimes people just need a dose of Jesus. Cures a lot. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So as many of you guys know, Lilly and Jack, not enough coffee in me to become triggered. That's it. This is my first cup of coffee, and you guys can see how full it is. So, bingo. Ding, 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 ding. It's not that time of morning yet. Medic Biker, it's nice to see you. I hope you're feeling well. I hope you're feeling well. Sounds like pretty soon you're going to be cutting a rug. Oh, good gracious. I keep missing the light. Well, you didn't miss it today, honey. I'm right here. Hey. I'm live, see? Ow! Ow! Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Are you here? Why don't you get up and try to walk? We'll see if you're here. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. I'm just joking. Hey, Laura. It's nice to see you. I miss you too. I miss you too. All right. So, yeah, a lot of stuff. But anyways, getting back to this. So we found out that there is potential, because why else would the mom leave and never come back? And she is Native. So she's an indigenous. She's classified as indigenous. And so are her children. So is it possible that she ran off to avoid any more questions from the police? I love you too, Michelle. Guys, it's so nice. Excited for a long weekend. Yeah, well, I don't really get long weekends. I work. I work all the time. I'm a workaholic. I'm a workaholic. But, in all fairness, I may sneak off an extra day and go spend an extra day with my BFF. I might. Thank you, Amy M. That's cute. I love those little floating hearts. Hey, Rod, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you. Okay, Mi'kmaq Nation. I could never figure out what they were saying, because all of the names that they were listing in these articles were much different, and I could not. I do not know Native American language. Okay, I cannot pronunciate it. I know I have some of it running through my veins. Well, American Native, but I don't know. But I find it very interesting, because much like the Sebastian Rogers case, and much like a lot of the cases that we cover, law enforcement is now going back and has made the decision they need more information even before these children disappeared. So law enforcement has reached out to some people, 8 so miles down the road, about 18 minutes away. Excuse me. I guess there's only like one main road in and one main road out. So they wanted to see and check the cars. They wanted to know this lady's vehicle, her household vehicle information, so they can eliminate these vehicles from images that they're seeing from the roads. Melanie says, 8-month member. God bless you putting up with me that long. God bless you. God bless you. So, we have, it's showing that they are looking at some things. And there's so many satellite. I wish that law enforcement would have the ability to have some access to satellites. That would be amazing. We got so many satellites in orbit. And I got to think something's monitoring the frickin' Earth, There's got to be something that they can get a part of. But I digress. Either way, they are asking for cameras all the way back to the 28th, which is before the children disappeared. They were dropped off from their bus on Tuesday, the 29th, April 29th. They're asking for footage for anybody that has trail cam or any other type of footage to go all the way back to April 28th. They want to know who has been coming and going from that house before these kids disappeared. So that tells me that is a behavior, that is a very strategic behavior from law enforcement in Canada, and it does mean something. It means that, to me, it means they don't believe the parents' stories either. So now we're starting to get some of those indicators that we need from law enforcement to kind of get an idea of the direction that they're leaning. And I think that this right here is huge. So I'm going to read this, and then we're going to have a little bit of a chat about it. But this, when I get to a very specific spot, and it's at the very beginning of this article, we're going to pretty much shut it down, because this is critical and huge information. And now I'm starting to see a much clearer picture of what happened. So let me go through this here with you guys. I'm going to read the article first. And for those that do this and cover these cases, even when a site has a article and a video, I find that most people go and hit the video button, right? And just watch the news. I do the same thing. When I'm crunched for time, I'll just go and watch the video. But do you know that this article down here has so much more details and information than the video? And so I'm going to challenge everybody that's reading anything about this case, any case, not just the Lilly and Jack case, but Sebastian's case, right? We need to run a show on Sebastian. We haven't had an update on Sebastian in at least a week from this channel, so we're going to need to get back on Sebastian here, and maybe we'll do that. Let me see if I can compile some details and get a show pulled together for tonight at 8. And we'll do tonight at 8 o'clock show on Sebastian Rogers, if there's not anything breaking on the case of Lilly and Jack. But they're wanting them to go all the way back to the 28th. And why I like this is because this is the article that the light bulb went off on my head. And it's something we missed. We didn't miss it. We misinterpreted what it meant. We knew about the information. We just weren't analyzing it correctly. So I'm going to go over that with you guys as well. So this is related to the neighbors. One of the neighbors of them that live, up the road. And we'll get some more information. I'll show the video in just a second. But the lady up the road, she was asked for the trail cameras. Law enforcement indicated that they probably should have been there a lot sooner, which, hindsight's 2020. When you're in a situation like this, you don't want to thank the parents. But see, that's the problem that I'm trying to change in law enforcement's mind, because it's not about trying to believe the parents did something or didn't do something. It's about preserving evidence, in my opinion, okay? It's about not judging a book by its cover, either good or bad. When these law enforcement officers are out there, I don't want them to look the other way because somebody is in this big fancy house and doesn't think that could possibly be crimes going on inside that big fancy house. But on the flip side, I don't want them thinking, automatically assuming that somebody that's homeless must have done this crime because they're the ones that needed the money. And so, that's what I'm talking about. I don't want them judging. I want them to be able to follow processes, policies, and procedures that preserve the evidence. Because it's not about trying to catch this parent or catch this person or this, that, and the other. It's about What happens if it's not as it seems? That's what we're protecting. When you do the forensics up front and they end up going into the garbage because the person comes home, yeah, is that a waste of money and time? Yes, it is. But it's not in preparation for the child that comes home. These preparations, these policies and procedures are in place for the ones that don't. The ones that do have manipulative witnesses and people misdirecting law enforcement and them believing it. It's not for them to make decisions on truth or fiction. It's just to preserve the evidence. And that's what my biggest thing is when they do not turn these areas into crime scenes immediately and do the forensics immediately, they're losing valuable evidence. It's not that I want these families or law enforcement just to pee money away on doing forensic kits and all this other stuff. But again, it's not for the ones that are found. It's for the ones that aren't. It's those that evidence that you will never collect again if you don't collect it then. So, anyways, this article is really telling, and it is giving us an indicator of how law enforcement is leaning. Okay, because let's look at the facts of law enforcement. Law enforcement has come out. They've told us the parents are cooperating at the beginning. You know, this did the very first press conference. We learned that that they believe the children are no longer with us. That was one of the first things that they told us, is they don't believe that the children are with us. And they did a massive ground search for about 5 days until they made the determination that there's no possibility of survival for the children. And then there was another massive search after they scaled the search back. And now we're all looking and saying, where are these children? And it really is leading us back to these children had to have been unalived by some means or injured by some means earlier in the week than when they were reported. So again, bringing a lot more suspicion to why mom is gone. Okay? But let's get back here, because this is going to blow our minds, because I don't think law enforcement was very stupid. I remember when we first started getting a hold of this case, there were the back and forth between the mom and the stepdad and law enforcement in the Amber Alert, and law enforcement was hell-bent on not initiating an Amber Alert. I think I understand why now. Okay, so let's just get through this and then we'll have a discussion about it. As RCMP remains tight-lipped about the investigation into the disappearance of 2 young Nova Scotia children, a resident who lives near their rural home says she has turned over trail camera footage at the request of police spanning 5 days before they were reported missing. That's a very critical detail. 5 days. Lily, 6, and her brother Jack Sullivan, 4, have been missing since May 2nd, when police received a 911 call from their mother and stepfather. The police say they were told the children wandered away from their home in Lansdowne Station, a sparsely populated area about 140 kilometers northeast of Halifax. That sparked an extensive 6-day search through 5.5 square kilometers of mostly dense wood and rugged terrain. The search and rescue officials were then called back to the community over the weekend, focusing on specific areas around the children's home, but police have not said what prompted them to return. And this has sparked a lot of speculation, because many people believe somebody's talking. And I've heard that myself. So, where was I? But the police have not said what responded them to return, and haven't revealed if any evidence was discovered. RCMP have not ruled out that the case is suspicious. They have not ruled it out. Hey, GE girl, it's nice to see you, love. They've confirmed that here's the big bombshell that we knew about, but we didn't analyze correctly. They've confirmed that the major crime unit, let me repeat that. They've confirmed that the major crime unit has been involved since the day after the disappearance. We never knew what that meant. We knew that the RMCP's elite group of their major crime unit was on the scene on May 3rd. We did not analyze that correctly, because that tells us a crime was committed. They're under a criminal investigation as of May 3rd. According to this statement, major crime unit has been involved since May 3rd, since the day after they were reported missing, since they disappeared. So I think that we are on the right track. This is the information. We knew that they were on the scene, but we didn't understand what that meant. We just thought it was another resource. But, when you're reading it and they're talking about they've confirmed that the major crimes unit has been on scene since the day after their reported disappearance, that tells me there's a crime. Okay? So now we have this. Remember, we started hearing all these interviews coming out by May 4th, May 5th, and they were demanding that the Amber Alert be initiated, and law enforcement said no. I don't think law enforcement has been treating this as this case just wandered off since at least May 3rd. I think that they've known something does not make sense here, and they brought in the investigative team, the criminal investigative team, to work the case since May 3rd. That does not make me feel warm and fuzzy, especially in light of them refusing to initiate an Amber Alert. That means that the issue's more closer to home, okay? So they have not ruled out any suspicion. They've confirmed the major crime unit has been involved since the day after their disappearance, but have been guarded about the details of the investigation. And Melissa Scott, she's the one that this article was about. She was the one that was approached by the RCMP's major crime unit to see if she had any trail cams on her 16 hectare property. I don't know what that means. I guess I'll have to look up what a hectare property is. In Glengarry Station near the children's home. So she told the police she has 7 trail cameras in total on her property. One points down her driveway, another positions near the house, and the rest are scattered throughout the woods. It takes about an hour to walk between them and round up the memory cards. I did mention to the investigators that I was very happy to see them and glad that they were canvassing a little further and looking at trail camera footage. Scott told CBC News in an interview Wednesday outside her home. They did respond saying that they probably should have been out there earlier. And again, that comes down to why these policies and procedures are so important. It should be a standard SOP, right? Standard operating procedure whenever you have a missing kids to immediately start requesting video footage to come in. I think that should be standard operating procedure no matter what. So Scott says she gave a U.S. drive to load. She was given a U.S. drive to load her trail camera footage onto. She was initially asked to give them her footage from May 1st to May 3rd, but they later expanded that request to April 27th to May 3rd. That means that they're not believing these parents' story, in addition to the major crimes unit being involved, and now them expanding the timing of the videos that they're wanting to search is really starting to paint a picture of the direction that law enforcement is starting to take. Scott said she posted a private community Facebook group, asked her neighbors if they too had been visited by the RCMP, and she said at least 2 of them had responded and said they had. So This is a good article because at least we know law enforcement is doing their job. They are trying to get to the bottom of what happened, but they are starting to paint a picture for us with their request, and it seems like much like our suspicions has been, it may be a reality that these kids disappeared much sooner than what the mom and the stepdad would like us to believe. So I think that I'm going to put up this video. We're going to try. Let me see if I can. Hold on. Let me see if I can just adjust my camera wrong way. Hold on a second. Let me try to adjust this. This is it. There we go. I think that worked. Okay. So, and we're going to watch this because this is the video that accompanies. This is the video that accompanies that story that we were just talking about. So let me see if I can get this adjusted. Right.
Might contain clues about the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. RCMP asked her for days of footage as the investigation into the missing children approaches the 3-week mark.
It's scary, especially not knowing what happens. We definitely keep our kids a little closer to home now.
The 4- and 6-year-olds were reported missing from this home on May 2nd, launching a massive search of the woods surrounding the home. No trace has been found, and RCMP haven't ruled out the case as suspicious. This is some of the footage Scott gave police. She says RCMP major crimes officers came to her home this week, asking for everything on her 7 cameras, starting April 27th, 5 days before the kids were reported missing. 2 of Scott's neighbors were also asked to provide footage to RCMP. She said the officers also asked about her family's vehicles to rule out local traffic in footage.
Possibly they are wondering if they didn't go missing earlier, or maybe somebody who isn't local to the area was around beforehand.
This road is the most direct path from Scott's property to the home the kids went missing from. We drove between the 2 places. It's about an 18-minute drive down rough dirt roads. Straight through the woods, it's about 5 kilometers.
I did mention to them that I was very happy to see them and glad that they were canvassing a little further and looking at trail cam footage, and they did respond saying that they probably should have been around earlier.
RCMP would not answer CBC's questions, including why they are seeking trail camera footage from before the disappearance and why they are identifying local vehicles. Nicholas, again,
So identifying local vehicles. They've got an investigation. They've got to rule everything out. And sometimes ruling everything out is getting a spreadsheet of residents, their registered vehicles, and going down, check, and confirming those with vehicles. I mean, you got to think that this is a desolate rural area, so there shouldn't be a whole lot of traffic on the road out there, I would presume. And there might be some commuting traffic, but I wouldn't imagine it being, too busy. It shouldn't be that big of an undertaking to confirm who's been going and coming. That mom, she took off pretty quick. She did. And that's why I couldn't understand why she'd take off so quick after the very first day. And then when somebody put in my brain that if she's on a reservation, law enforcement can't speak to her, well, that surely does seem like a good motivator for somebody that doesn't want to speak to law enforcement. Her body language in that interview was all types of off. It just didn't seem natural. Many people believed it was scripted, and it did have a tinge of scriptness to it, with what she was saying and the over explanation. She was answering questions that if her statement was true, she wouldn't be able to answer. So, and she took off that evening and never came back. I feel some type of way about that. And then I also have another question. If Meadows in the Department of Children and Family Services, the RCMP Department of Family Services, how was that done if she was on native land? I've got questions about everything that's being detailed here. Do we know if the kids attended school Monday or Tuesday? Yes, they did. They attended, Cindy. They did attend school Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday was a national holiday for them, and then they were not at school on Thursday and reported missing on Friday. So that's why I've always believed they disappeared before Friday, because it's them being not, it's them having an unexcused absence at school on Thursday that's leading me down that road. That's making my mind go that way, because it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. Off to the dentist. I hope you have a great checkup. Excuse me with the hiccups. Great checkup, Ginger. I've been paying for insurance for the last, years on my teeth, and I haven't even gone to that. They just sent me a reminder. It's been 18 months since I've been to the dentist. I'm horrible. I'm horrible with checkups and stuff like that. I mean, that sliding door is old, rickety. It actually looks pretty new, like a newer door, but it doesn't look like it's debris free, and but who knows? I've seen some pretty crappy sliding glass doors that work amazing, but not noise free. Usually they're a little squeaky, or you hear them rolling over the metal. And glass doors are. You guys hear them even when the silent ones. There's still noise attributed to those sliding glass doors. I just wish someone would speak up about the last time someone other than the parents. Me too. But in all fairness, Stephanie, somebody did speak up. It was the bus driver. But I have a problem with the teachers not coming forward and talking about the kids, especially in light of them, no longer being alive. Law enforcement not believing these kids are alive. You would think that, the teachers would want to come and talk about the children fondly. And, I don't know. I don't know why the schools haven't been a little more public in their condolences. I don't know. I think what it was is I really enjoyed hearing the teachers talk about Sebastian Rogers. That was very endearing for me, because at the time it seemed like they were the only people, them and Sebastian's dad Seth were the only people that were saying nice things about Sebastian. And so, we had only heard about Chris and Katie's interviews at the time before the teachers. And it was like, they were a stark contrast, because the teachers were speaking of Sebastian so highly, and, had such fond memories of him. And we couldn't get that kind of, passion from his own mom and stepfather, to tell stories. And it was just good. I really enjoyed that. And I think the world would enjoy hearing about these children, and hearing about these children in school. I mean, 6 and 4 years old. I just take it in. 6 and 4 years old. Look at those beautiful faces. Law enforcement believes they're gone. How can a mom run off when law enforcement just told her that they might not be coming back home? I'm one of those people. It's like, and some people may misinterpret what I'm saying, and that's okay. But it's like, if I'm told that my missing loved one is deceased, I'm not taking that. I'm not going to take somebody's word for it. Show me the body, right? Show me the body. I don't believe it. Show me the body. And I'd have to think that a mother that is being told that her children are no longer is going to hold on to every little smidgen of hope that they have, and be out there every day for their children to come home. And she's gone. And I said that is not normal behavior of a mom. And I said it with Chris and Katie. I say it with this family too. It's not normal behavior to run away from your children when they go missing. The normal is staying there and fighting for your children, and making sure that you're on every channel. If they're out there, they see you and know that you're looking for them. Know that you're hunting and searching for them. But what really upsets me is that now that we realize the Major Crimes Unit has been involved since May 3rd, If I find out these kids, it's just going to be, because look at how manipulative Daniel has been throughout this whole thing. If this stuff starts leaning that way, which, you know, based upon this last article, it is leaning that way. They're asking for an expanded date parameters. They're looking for something, and they're looking for something very, 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 very close to home. So if you guys have any information, know any details, have heard of anything, if you guys are still out there, you know, those chat rooms, if you guys get into those chat rooms and you see somebody talking like they know what is going on there or from there, please let me know. Please get them in contact with me. I'm very curious and would love to pick somebody's brains that's from there, that I can just kind of, you know, get a good understanding of what I'm talking about, because I don't understand how the legal process works. You know, is it similar to the United States? Is it not similar to the United States? Again, this is an area that I haven't been in before. I've never done an international case. So I'm relying heavily on our Canadian family to help guide me through this process and explaining this case. I know something doesn't smell right. But the lack of details and the lack of information that we can acquire is a pain in the butt for me. You know, it's a pain in the butt for me. So anyways, any help that you guys can provide. A lot of people have been sending me a lot of emails. I've got to go through them, and we'll have other discussion topics based upon those emails once I review them. So for all of you guys that have been sending me emails about this case and sending me your perspective and theories, I really, really, really do appreciate it. I want to thank you for that. But this case is starting to heat up, in my opinion, but not heating up in the right way. I'd like it heating up on the, you know, identifying the location of these kids and bringing them home, if not for any other reason than to allow them to go, you know, to be laid to rest and to rest in peace. But you know, our ultimate goal is always to bring children home and bring children home safely. But again, law enforcement in the area is what, you know, took that wind out of our sails when they told us that these kids are gone. They knew something back then that we didn't. They were right and accurate on that. They were right and accurate on pulling Major Crimes Unit in, and now they're right and accurate in expanding the search time, the period that they're searching. They're going all the way back from when they knew for a fact that these kids were in school on April 28th. And, you know, moving all the way to May 3rd, a day after they disappeared. They're even wanting to know what kind of behaviors and who was driving here and there during the search efforts. So this is huge. This is a good indicator. This is our first real indication on how law enforcement is going to move since they scaled back this search. This is the one thing that we can attribute to a behavior, a law enforcement behavior, that's going to guide us to at least their opinion or clearing of an opinion in this case. So is it leaning toward, like I said before, we have a lot of people to eliminate and resolve in this case. Before we solely look at the parents. You know, we're still looking at the parents, but solely look at the parents. We're solely looking at the parents right now because nobody's coming forward related to who was at that house party and who else was around these children before they disappeared. If we could find out or identify those people, then we'll have some other people that we can clear and look at and eliminate. But I knew coming into this that this case was most likely going to start leaning toward the parents had something to do with it. You can clearly see some odd behavior with the mom. And the major odd behavior for me, the biggest one of all, is her leaving. That's the biggest one of all. And, you know, she still, even after all this time, she still hasn't been back. She still hasn't been back. She hasn't been back to the property in over 20 days. How is that possible? Hasn't been there for 20 days. That tells me something's not right. That tells me something's not right all day long. Anyways, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And we will be back later. Like I said, I've got some things I'm going to be doing today, so I'll be hit and miss. But I do want to have some time where we cover the Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers case. Is not getting a whole lot of attention, and I kind of understand why. It was a hard battle for us to bring awareness to Sebastian's case, and I think with this new case here, it's giving everybody just a little bit of a break. But at the end of the day, we don't want him to lose the significant work we've done related to the algorithm. And he is still missing, and we still need to find him. We still need some strategies to find him. And quite frankly, I think we still need some public pressure to get law enforcement off their duff to continue to work for Sebastian. So we'll be discussing those things in due time. But for right now, you made it to the end of the week. So TGIF, go enjoy your day. And we'll be hit and miss on here. So I hope you're subbed up here on the Bullhorn Betty Show. I hope you're subbed up on our crime story side of the show. You never know where I'm going to be, and I hope you're with TikTok too, because I may be live. I bounce between these channels, and I go live throughout the day. So come hang out with me. Come learn some things. If you found something, send it to me. bullhornbetty@gmail.com. All right, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you soon.